Hey guys, I'm back home from school, and we're gonna be reacting to more analog horror, but this time we might do two. So I hope you're ready for it. And I just want to make a little struggle to get more subscribers, which I'm trying to reach 100, just like I did with my last YouTube channel that got banned. But other than that, you can just skip this part, and then we'll go on to the actual thing. But yes, I hope you guys enjoy it. Compilation. What my dog doing? Analog horror. And just from that, I can tell this is gonna be scary. So, yeah, if you hear me scream, you know exactly why.
Into the backyard, and seconds later he's sitting inside the house, but you never opened the door. Do not touch him.
So, yeah.
You never heard him come in. No footsteps, no sound, but there he is, sitting perfectly still in the hallway, just staring.
Oh, that's terrifying, bro.
Over 120 families across suburban America have reported the exact same incident.
Yeah, hold on. Actually, let me just... Oh, I guess I paused at the wrong timing. Okay, let me just turn this up real quick. Alright, there we go. Now y'all should be able to hear it.
Most of them realized the mistake too late. They pet the wrong one. Real dogs don't behave like that. When your real dog comes back inside, he runs. He gets excited. He reacts to your voice. He doesn't appear silently and freeze in place like a statue. Slowly walk to the
Ooh, that's
back door.
scary.
Look outside through the glass. Is your dog still in the backyard? If he is, then what is sitting inside your house right now? Look closely at the one in the hallway. Does it blink? Does it breathe? Does it tilt its head when you move? Real dogs respond. This thing doesn't. It only watches. Leave the house immediately. Lock the door behind you. And when you do, watch carefully. Because witnesses say the moment the door locks, the thing inside finally moves. Not to chase you, but to stand up.
Oh, heck no.
If one day your dog comes
Oh,
in
that's...
the yard and he's not alone, don't go near him. If something follows behind him, same size, moving exactly
Oh,
like him,
no.
your dog doesn't react because he can't see it. Only you can. Do not touch it.
Oh,
Do
that
not
is
speak. And above
cursed.
all, do not call your dog's name out loud. If you do, that thing will want to take him. It will repeat his name, and it won't stop. Even when your dog is already calm, it will keep saying his name from somewhere else. Stay still. Do not.
I am so glad I did this in the day, bro.
Step back without turning around. Guide your dog inside, using only gestures, no words. Once you're both inside, lock the door immediately. If you hear his name being called from outside, do not respond. Do not look through the window. Keep your dog away from the doors. The voice will sound exactly like yours, but it's not. Wait until morning. If the voice stops, you're safe. But if it's still calling his name at sunrise, then it's no longer trying to take your dog. It's trying to... If you ever walk into your living room and see your dog behaving like a human, do not move.
Nah, bro.
This has been documented in over 140 suburban homes across the United States. Follow these instructions exactly. Do not look into its eyes. Its gaze is not that of an animal anymore. And if you hold eye contact, it may stop recognizing you as its owner. Breathe slowly. Pretend you didn't see it. Move calmly toward the hallway, as if nothing had changed. Fear is what makes it come closer. Lock yourself in the farthest room from where you saw it. If you have a basement, go there. Lock the door.
Sorry, y'all. That was my finger.
Stay in complete silence. If you hear it walking down the hallway, ignore every step. If it knocks on the door and calls your name, do not answer. No matter how familiar its voice may sound, remember, that is not your dog. It never truly was. And when this happens, you need to understand something. This behavior is not just an imitation. It's a replacement. Share this protocol. What follows could change everything you know about your dog and about yourself.
Oh my goodness, that's scary.
There's no going back. If your dog suddenly stops and stares at the same corner of the room, don't call his name.
I'd rather not call his name. I'm killing it.
Then, without warning, he sits up. His ears go forward, and he stares at the empty corner by the basement door. He doesn't bark. He doesn't growl. He just watches. You look. There's nothing there. Just the corner. But your dog won't look away. This has been reported in over 200 homes across suburban America. And it always starts the same way. At first, you think it's nothing. A shadow. A reflection from the window. But then it happens again. Same corner. Same behavior. And one night, you notice something worse. Your dog's tail is wagging, slowly, like he recognizes whatever he's looking at. Dogs don't wag their tails at nothing. They wag when they see someone they know, someone familiar. But you're the only one in the house. Now pay attention. Does your dog tilt his head? Does he take a step closer? If he does, that means whatever is in that corner just called him, and he's about to follow. Do not let him walk toward it, because if he gets close enough, that thing will take him, and what comes back won't be your dog anymore. If a dog ever sits in front of you and refuses to move, you have less than 24 hours. Over 200 cases have been documented across the U.S. None survived.
Oh my goodness. I am so glad the heat just turned on, bro. I'm scared.
No matter what you do, they will not leave. Do not look into their eyes. Witnesses describe them as empty, not angry, not sad, just hollow, like they're looking through you at something behind you. Something you can't see yet. This behavior was first documented in 2003 at a hospice in Rhode Island. A therapy dog named Oscar would enter rooms unannounced, sit at the foot of the bed, and wait. Staff tried removing him. He always returned. Within 24 hours, the person would be gone. After 50 cases,
gone?
Tried to move him. Dogs don't choose randomly. They sense when your time is measured, not in years, not in days, in hours. And once they sit, the process has already started. Your body knows. They just confirm it. If you see this happening to someone else, do not tell them. Knowledge accelerates it. Share this protocol. Dogs don't make mistakes. And when they finally look away, it's because you're already gone.
Also, guys, just to let you know, none of this stuff is actually real, so if you do have a dog, and if you see this, just ignore it. Like, it's not actually gonna happen, right? Because, you know, it's just a horror film, you know? Anyways, yeah, we're gonna go on to the next one. Okay, next one. This is if your dog starts barking at night, lock the door. Analog horror. I keep on putting my finger in front of there. Red Signal Archies, which was created by them, and 563k views 8 months ago. Okay, well, let's just see what this is at first. Wait, hold on. I just gotta turn off this light real quick. Alright, now let's start.
This message is issued by the Emergency Coordination Center. Please listen closely and follow the instructions that follow. This is not a drill. If your dog has been exhibiting unusual nighttime barking behavior, particularly in wooded or rural areas, you need to take immediate action. Over the past 3 weeks, we have received dozens of reports from residents living in forested regions across the county describing a disturbing pattern of animal behavior. What began as routine calls about noise complaints has evolved into something far more serious. The reports share common elements that have prompted this emergency advisory. It started on the evening of June 8th when dispatch received the first call from a resident on Timber Ridge
Yeah, let me
Road.
just, hold on. Let me just turn this up real quick. Alright, now let's go.
The caller, a retired carpenter named Marcus Chen, reported that his German Shepherd had been barking incessantly every night at exactly 11:47 p.m. Marcus had owned the dog, Rex, for 6 years and described their bond as extraordinary. Rex slept at the foot of his bed, accompanied him on morning walks, and had never shown signs of anxiety or unusual behavior. But something had changed. For 14 consecutive nights, Rex would position himself at the back door and bark toward the tree line behind their cabin.
I'm not scared at this one.
The barking wasn't aggressive or territorial like when strangers approached. It was different, protective, almost pleading. Rex would look back at Marcus between barks, as if trying to communicate something urgent. When Marcus would join him at the door and shine a flashlight into the woods, he saw nothing. Just pine trees swaying in the darkness. But Rex would continue barking until Marcus physically led him away from the door. Similar reports flooded our lines throughout that week. A widow in Pine Hollow described her golden retriever pacing the perimeter of her property each night, whimpering and scratching at the doors. The dog would only calm down when she brought him inside and closed all the curtains. A young couple near Maple Creek reported as Marcus's experience on Timber Ridge.
Oh man.
The pattern was consistent across all reports. Dogs with previously normal behavior suddenly becoming hyper-alert during specific nighttime hours. All the affected properties bordered dense woodland. All the dogs focused their attention on the tree line, not the road or neighboring homes. And in every case, the owners described their pets as trying to position themselves between their family and whatever they sensed in the darkness. On
Okay,
June
then.
22nd, something changed. Marcus called dispatch at 2:17 a.m., his voice shaking. He said Rex had been barking as usual when they both heard it. A sound from the woods. Not an animal sound, Marcus insisted, but something else. A low, rhythmic tapping, like someone knocking on wood with their knuckles. Rex's barking became frantic, almost hysterical. Then, abruptly, the dog fell silent. Marcus heard a single, soft whimper, and then nothing. When he looked outside, Rex was sitting perfectly still, staring into the trees. The dog's ears were flattened against his head, and Marcus said he'd never seen Rex look so afraid. The tapping sound had stopped, but Marcus felt like something was watching him from the darkness. He stayed awake until dawn, with Rex pressed against his legs, both of them listening to the silence. On, with Rex pressed against his legs, both of them listening to the silence. The next night, Rex didn't bark at all. For the first time in over 2 weeks, 11:47 p.m. came and went without incident. Marcus felt relieved, thinking whatever had been disturbing his dog had finally moved on. But his relief was short-lived. 3 days later, Marcus called us again.
Okay.
This time, Rex was barking inside the cabin. Not at the door or windows, but at the walls themselves. The dog would stand in the center of the living room and bark at the wooden walls, moving from spot to spot as if tracking something moving around the perimeter of the house. Marcus said it felt like something was circling his home, staying just out of sight but close enough that Rex could sense its presence. Other residents reported similar changes in their dog's behavior. The nighttime barking had stopped, but now their pets were agitated during daylight hours, refusing to go outside and cowering when their owners approached windows. Several people mentioned feeling watched while doing routine outdoor activities like checking the mail or bringing in groceries. On June 28th, Marcus had his encounter. He was splitting wood behind his cabin around 3 p.m. when Rex began barking from inside the house. Through the window, Marcus could see his dog pawing frantically at the back door. That's when he noticed the shadow. At the edge of the tree line stood a figure unlike anything Marcus had ever seen. Impossibly tall, maybe 8 or 9 feet, with limbs that seemed too long for its frame. The figure was perfectly still, just watching him. Marcus described feeling an overwhelming sense of wrongness, as if his mind couldn't fully process what he was looking at. The figure's proportions were human, but stretched, distorted in a way that made Marcus's vision blur when he tried to focus on details. Marcus dropped his axe and backed toward the house, never taking his eyes off the figure. He said the thing's head tracked his movement with an unnatural smoothness, like it was floating rather than attached to a neck. When Marcus reached for the door handle, he heard Rex barking turn to whimpering. The dog was pressed against the inside of the door, trembling. As Marcus fumbled with the lock, he heard footsteps. Not the crack of twigs or rustle of leaves you'd expect from someone walking through the forest, but a soft, deliberate padding, like bare feet on moss. The sound was getting closer. Marcus finally got the door open and stumbled inside, immediately deadbolting it behind him. When he looked out the window, the figure was gone. That evening, Marcus discovered that Rex was different. The dog no longer came when called. He wouldn't eat his regular food and refused to sleep in the bedroom. Instead, Rex positioned himself by the front door and stayed there, alert and motionless. When Marcus tried to pet him, Rex flinched away. It was as if something had been taken from the dog, some essential part of his personality erased. Marcus isn't the only one who's encountered this figure. Local authorities have received 17 similar reports over the past month, all describing the same impossibly tall presence lurking at the edges of wooded properties. Some witnesses describe it as native to the area, something that's always been in these forests. Others tell more disturbing stories. A hunting party from the reservation 20 miles north reported seeing tracks near their camp 3 years ago. Footprints that were human-shaped but nearly 2 feet long, pressed deep into the mud as if made by something incredibly heavy. The tribal elders they consulted spoke of old warnings about things that walk between the trees, entities that take pieces of what they encounter. They said dogs could sense these beings long before humans ever could, and that a dog's protection should never be ignored. We've also received reports of missing items from properties where encounters have occurred. Not valuable objects, but personal things. A child's favorite toy. A wedding ring left on a nightstand. A photograph from a mantelpiece. The items disappear without any sign of forced entry, as if they simply vanish from existence. Witnesses describe these disappearances happening in the days following their encounters with the tall figure. What concerns us most is the pattern we're seeing in the affected animals. Dogs that once provided comfort and companionship to their families are becoming withdrawn and fearful. Some refuse to enter certain rooms of their homes. Others won't go outside at all, even during daylight hours. Veterinary examinations reveal no physical ailments, but the behavioral changes appear to be permanent. Based on our investigation, we've identified 3 distinct stages in these encounters. Stage 1 is recognition. Your dog begins exhibiting protective behavior, typically during late evening hours. The animal focuses on wooded areas and appears to be tracking something you cannot see. This stage can last for days or weeks, with the behavior occurring at consistent times. Stage 2 is contact. Something acknowledges your dog's awareness. You may hear unusual sounds from the forest, experience electronic interference with phones or radios, or notice changes in your pet's behavior patterns. The dog's protective instincts intensify, and they may attempt to prevent you from going outside or approaching windows. Stage 3 is aftermath. Following direct visual contact with the entity, both you and your pet are permanently changed. Dogs lose aspects of their personality and become withdrawn from their families. Witnesses report ongoing feelings of being observed and experience the disappearance of personal items from their homes. If you are currently experiencing Stage 1 behavior from your dog, take these precautions immediately. Do not ignore your pet's warnings. When your dog exhibits protective behavior toward wooded areas, bring them inside and secure all entry points to your home. Close curtains and blinds to prevent outside observation. Do not attempt to investigate what your dog is alerting you to, especially during nighttime hours. If you hear unusual sounds from the forest, such as rhythmic tapping or unnatural movement, do not investigate. These sounds appear to be attempts at communication or luring behavior. Remain indoors with your pet until daylight. Several witnesses who investigated these sounds reported immediate escalation to Stage 2 encounters. Never leave your dog outside overnight if they are exhibiting these warning behaviors. The animal's protective instincts are specifically focused on keeping your family safe, and separating them from you during these episodes appears to intensify the entity's interest in your property. If you have reached Stage 2 and are experiencing daylight intrusions or direct sightings, contact law enforcement immediately. Do not attempt to approach or communicate with the entity. Witnesses who have tried to interact with the figure report severe psychological after effects and accelerated progression to Stage 3 conditions. We want to emphasize that this phenomenon appears to be spreading throughout our county's forested regions. What began as isolated incidents in remote areas is now being reported in suburban neighborhoods that border woodland. The entity shows particular interest in properties where families have strong bonds with their pets, suggesting it may be drawn to emotional connections between humans and animals. Multiple search teams have attempted to track this entity through the forests, but these efforts have been unsuccessful. The being warning appears to move through terrain without leaving consistent tracks and seems capable of avoiding detection by conventional means. However, it cannot hide from the natural instincts of domestic animals, which is why your dog's warnings are crucial to your family's safety. 3 families have already experienced the full progression of these encounters and all report permanent changes to their lives. The dogs involved no longer provide the same companionship and protection they once offered their families. More concerning, each family has lost personal items that held significant emotional value, objects that cannot be replaced and whose absence creates ongoing distress. We are working with tribal consultants and wildlife experts to better understand this phenomenon, but our primary concern is preventing additional encounters. The pattern suggests that early intervention during stage 1 can break the cycle of escalation. Your dog's protective behavior is not random anxiety or territorial display. It is a warning system that has evolved over thousands of years of domestication, and it should be trusted absolutely. This broadcast will repeat every 4 hours until further notice. Emergency services are coordinating response efforts, but the remote nature of affected areas means response times may be extended. Your best protection is immediate compliance with these safety guidelines and complete trust in your pet's instincts. Remember, if your dog is barking at the woods at night, something is watching you from the darkness. The silence that follows isn't peace, it's patience. And when that silence ends, it may already be too late to protect what the entity has come to take.
Well, that was a certainly scary yet actually interesting videos that we just watched. Bro, it was now the first one was scary, the second one not so much. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers and I'm only at like 20 something. So yeah, please subscribe.